Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a response to Chris Propfe, Musically Obsessed. He's asked us to show 5 records from 5 different genres in 5 minutes. And first up, it's the genre of rock and roll, and it's Buddy Holly's self-titled album. These tracks were recorded between March 1957 and January 1958. They include his 4 singles to date, which were Words of Love, Peggy Sue, I'm Gonna Love You Too, and Rave On. And it also includes the track Every Day. It feels like you're listening to the birth of modern popular music, as it's not really that much of a jump from, say, Words of Love to the Beatles in the mid-60s, or to the singer-songwriters that followed in California, such as Jackson Browne and Joni Mitchell. Second genre is jazz, and we've got Miles Davis' Sketches of Spain. This was recorded in late 1959 and a further session in March 1960. It's a collaboration with arranger conductor Gil Evans. The mixing of flamenco music with orchestral jazz arrangements is just perfection. In the liner notes to this album, the jazz critic Nat Hentoff says, "A brooding, dramatic Spanish sound and feeling pervades all the works on this record. Davis has rarely, if ever, soloed with such concentration of emotion." Right, next we move on to English folk rock, and it's Lowe and Mike Waterson's Bright Phoebus. The Watersons, from the East Coast port city of Hull, were leading lights in the folk revival in the 1960s. They sang traditional folk songs with familial harmonies that brought to life the spirits of generations of trawlermen. This album was a change of tack for Lowe and Mike Waterson, as they'd started writing their own songs, and they also got to experiment on folk rock sounds in the studio. Contributors included such folk rock luminaries as Richard Thompson, Ashley Hutchings, Dave Mattox and Martin Carthy, who was married to Norma Waterson, of course. The album flopped when it was released back in 1972, but it's grown in stature over the years, with key tracks being covered by various artists such as Fairport Convention and June Tabor. This is the 2017 reissue, which was put out by Domino. Unfortunately, it was quickly recalled due to copyright infringement, and if you look on Discogs, you can't actually sell this version of the album. And the next genre is New Wave, and it's Elvis Costello, My Aim Is True. This was Elvis's debut album, which came out at the height of UK punk in 1977. You get 12 short and punchy songs ranging in length from less than 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes. Nick Lowe's live in the studio production is aimed, I think, to try and appeal to the same audience that was listening to the emerging punk bands. But even on this record alone, it's obvious that Elvis Costello is a songwriter in a class of his own, and it's a return to pre-psychedelia literate pop songs. Highlights on the album include Alison, The Angels Wanna Wear My Red Shoes, and Less Than Zero. Less Than Zero was my introduction to Elvis Costello on a Stiff single, and I've been listening to Elvis ever since. Right, moving on, we come to the genre of roots reggae and Culture 27's Clash. They were a vocal harmony trio led by Joseph Hill on lead vocals, plus harmonies from Albert Walker and Kenneth Dayes. This was their debut album from 1977. It was imbued with their reflections on their Rastafarian faith, and there was also a sense of dread reflecting the economic collapse of Jamaica at that time. I also have on CD a 30th anniversary edition of the record. And as a bonus, as we have a little bit of time left, let's go with Emo Pop and it is The Promise Ring and Nothing Feels Good. Vocalist and guitarist Davey Von Bolen had started out with emo pioneers Cap'n Jazz. One critic infamously described his voice as one that only a mother could love. Certainly it was an acquired taste on some of their early classics such as A Picture Postcard and East Texas Avenue. But by this point his achingly beautiful vocals have developed into a far more restrained power pop style, which has me fondly recalling bands such as Gene Clark era, Byrds, Big Star and Badfinger, the sort of bands that could pull at your heartstrings while strumming away on electric guitars. The enigmatic lyrics are also a draw for me. Their third album, Very Emergency, would have an even more immediate power pop sound, and then for their last album, Wood Water, which was produced by Stephen Street no less, they incorporated a more understated influences from people such as Neil Young. Hopefully I have done that within the 5-minute deadline, and I will see you again very soon. Take care.